Yo, what's up, guys? Tony here. We're back with a brand new Rostermania video, and today, as you can see, there's a little bit different setup. Let me know in the comments if you think this is a better setup with having the team's logo of the team that I'm going to be talking about on that specific day. Also, thank you guys for crushing the videos lately. I really appreciate it. It's just incredible support from you guys, and it truly makes me want to just make content every single day. And that's something that I haven't really had for a long time. So thank you guys for that. So getting right into things. So if you guys don't know, which I'm assuming you probably already do, the 100 Thieves roster right now is Octane, Kenny, and Pharaoh. Now, it gets interesting because, all right, so they picked up Kenny, Pharaoh, and Octane pretty early on in Rostermania, and there hasn't been a whole lot said since then. There's been a few. I know one of you guys commented and said, "Do you think Nate Shot will come out of retirement?" So that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about today. And honestly, I think it is a huge, huge possibility. Just due to the fact that I think that you're going to have more of a fundamental player, and I think that he's probably the best one that they can get if they don't get. They're probably going to be picking from leftovers. Most of these other top tier organizations that have already been here for a while will probably have some of the more known players, and so 100 Thieves will probably not be left with the best roster or the roster that they necessarily wanted when the season started, and that's fine because right now I don't think any player is necessarily bad. I think that it's just really, really touchy with contracts and stuff because, as I've mentioned before, I think Abizi would be a target for most teams if his buyout wasn't so big. I think he has like a 50K buyout or 100K. I'm not sure. But that would be a player that you would want to, invest in because how good is he going to be in the future? He's a grinder. He was really good last year. I think he was really, really slept on, to be honest. He clearly had some of the best movement in World War II. Obviously, this is going to be a different game, but if he's got good movement in a boots on the ground game, I can only imagine how it's going to be in a jetpack game. Just the fundamentals of how he plays, I think that would really fit 100 Thieves, and then I think that would be a great pair to go along with the likes of Kenny. And so say they do get somebody like an Abizi, who do you fill in with that fifth spot? Now that's assuming they don't pick up Nate Shot. That's really, really hard to tell because, it's in the air. You don't know what players are up, but you could look at maybe someone like an Aqua to kind of fit Octane, and I think that they would look great side by side. And I think that roster of Aqua, Kenny, Pharaoh, Abizi, and Octane, not sure if I already said them, I think I did. But those five that I mentioned, I think that would be a really good roster, and I think that's something that could potentially happen if, say, Abizi, 100 Thieves are willing to spend 50K because they've already passed on a few players because of their buyouts. And that's something that I feel like they're regretting now because they could have had a powerhouse roster. Not saying they don't have one now, but they could have had something better, I would assume, just by not passing up on all those players. Obviously, they're not going to pay 500K for the likes of like a John, but like to match the mystery org owner's offer, or 250K to a slasher. They're not going to do that. But it would be interesting to see, them kind of mix up, get somebody else. Maybe they go for a team like E United, maybe pick some players off that team. You never know. And I think that to say they do get the likes of a Clayster, because I've heard that a few of the players of E United wanted off the team. I'm not sure if that's confirmed. It's just what I've read. And I think that, maybe you put a player like Clayster on that team and, you get Kenny and Farrell hyped up a little bit. And I think that he brings a lot of hype to the game. And he would fit really well beside them as well. And that would do huge, huge things with 100 Thieves just because of Clayster's social media presence, his branding, kind of just how he's been able to set up his brand the past few years. He's probably one of the most well-known COD players. If not, next to Optic, he's probably one of the most well-known. And, you can credit that to him being on FaZe or this or that, but, I mean, he does have a huge presence, and that's something that people will look at when they're thinking of forming their rosters. Because maybe say you wouldn't pull a player out like Abizi for 50K. Not saying that it's just because he's an amateur, but if you put him side by side, maybe a BZ is better, but Clayster has that more branding, which is in turn going to make them even more money anyway. So it'd almost make their money back, which is great. Not saying that would make the exact amount, but I mean that was something they would probably look at. Another thing I was thinking was, there's a lot of these lower tiered AM teams, and for that team, maybe you settle on like a Celium. He's an up and comer, one of the EU cadets. He's 18. I'm pretty sure he's already 18. Yeah, so he should be a free agent for this season. Maybe you try and swipe a guy like Simp from E United eventually. I'm sure if Simp got an offer from 100 Thieves, he would leave E United in a heartbeat. Not saying that would happen, but I'm sure. I mean, anyone getting an offer from an organization like that that's so professionally branded and so just well-rounded, I think that you're probably going to take that. Not saying anything less on E United, because E United obviously is a pretty well-known org too, but they don't have the money to match what 100 Thieves does. And I think that's a big factor when you're talking about some of these rosters and pulling players from, especially the cadet players. But yeah, so that's some of the roster shakeups that I think could happen. Maybe you see some of those Echo Fox guys coming over. Obviously, I don't think that Temp would, just because Temp and Nate have had their disputes in the past, but you never know. Maybe they'll put him behind him. But I'm sure that some of the players on that team probably wouldn't want to team with Temp anyway, just because he tends to be a more aggressive player, and he's not as well liked in the community, and that's something that Nate Shot probably wouldn't want to bring on his org and his branding in general. But yeah, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like. You guys have been killing it. I really, really appreciate it. I will see you guys in my next video tomorrow. Let's try and hit 10 likes on this video. More Rostermania news soon. It's been your boy Turney. Peace.